and unit rates. A rate, recall, is a comparison between two different quantities measured with respect to one another. For example, speed. Speed has two different quantities that we measure with respect to one another. We measure speed in miles per hour. Another example of a rate would be cost. We can measure cost in dollars per ounce. These are just two examples of rates. There are lots of other examples that we will be working with in class. When working with rates, I highly recommend using a ratio table. Ratio tables are about to be your best friend for manipulating rates. Okay, let's take a look at this example. Make sure that you are writing everything down in this video. The Bailey Athletics Department is selling chocolate bars. Each chocolate bar is priced at, $1.25 per bar. What will be the cost of 10 chocolate bars? So the first thing that you're going to ask yourself is, do I have a rate? Do I have a comparison of two units? I have dollars here per bar. We are comparing cost per number of chocolate bars. So we have a rate. Now, this is a pretty simple problem, and you may feel like you don't need a ratio table, but I'm going to suggest that you go ahead and get used to using a ratio table because they're going to be really helpful when problems get more complicated. So this is a ratio table or a T-chart. We are comparing, I've labeled my units, dollars per bars. So I know that $1.25, I'm putting that on my dollar sign, is what I will spend for one chocolate bar. Now, I want to find the cost, so I'm going to represent the cost X for 10 chocolate bars. X is my unknown. Sometimes I also will just draw a box around it just to separate it. So, there are so many ways that you can use a ratio table. In ratio tables, there is a vertical relationship, and you can also look at a horizontal relationship. So what I can do is I can go directly from 1 to 10 by multiplying by 10. Or I can go from 1 to $1.25 by multiplying by $1.25. So you'll want to look at the relationship that's easiest for you. In my opinion, I'm going to go from 1 to 10, and I'm going to say, well, how do I get from 1 to 10? I multiply by 10. So for my dollars, because I have a proportional relationship, I have to say that I'm going to multiply my dollars by 10. So $1.25 times 10 is going to be $12.50. You may get 12.5, but remember, dollars and cents we have go to the hundredths place. So the cost of 10 bars is $12.50. A unit rate describes the value of one unit, the cost of one, or the value of one compared to its corresponding unit. For example, in our previous problem, we were actually working with a unit rate, the cost of one candy bar. But what if we don't know the cost of one candy bar? What if we need to find a unit rate? For example, what if we are given that 5 candy bars cost $3.75, and we are asked to find the cost per candy bar? What does the cost per candy bar mean? That means the unit rate, the cost of one candy bar. So I'm going to set up my ratio table, and I'm going to compare dollars to bars. So I know that $3.75 will buy me 5 candy bars. I want to find the cost, so I'm looking for my cost, so I'm going to put my X, of one candy bar, the cost per candy bar. Now, I'm going to say, well, how do I get from 5 down to 1? I'm going to divide by 5. When using ratio tables, we always multiply and divide. We never add or subtract. So 5 divided by 5 is 1. So $3.75 divided by 5 is 75 cents. So the cost of one candy bar is 75 cents. And that is our unit rate. So pause and rewind as much as necessary to understand these definitions. And I would like you to write a summary that explains the concepts covered in this video, and then also to think about some real-world examples that you might like to share with the class.